Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. I want to thank everybody who tuned into the Blue Underground collection video yesterday. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch that and to comment and show support. It means a lot to me. I posted a poll in the community tab last night, and I asked if you guys wanted to see the Code Red collection, the Scorpion Releasing collection, or take the day off, no video today. And overwhelmingly, the Code Red collection won, so we're going to do that today. This is my Code Red collection here on all these shelves. They're mostly Blu-rays. This is going to be quite a long video. Down at the bottom, I do have some DVDs, and the Blu-rays end like right about there. And then these are all DVDs. So this is going to be a long video, so get yourself relaxed, get a beverage, get a snack, kick your feet up, dim the lights, light a candle, chill video. Let's go. Okay, so this collection is a little bit different than I normally do because these all have spine numbers, and I do these numerical order instead of alphabetical. So it's not by the year they were released, it's not by A to Z, it's strictly by the number on the spine. It makes things a little bit harder to find when you have this many movies and you're looking for one, and if it's not alphabetized, you have to kind of scan through all of these until you kind of get the feel for them. But it's a nice collection. I'm very proud of this. Many of you know, if not most of you, that the owner and the proprietor of this fine company had passed away a couple of years ago, William Olson, and he was a great guy. You know, he was a big fan of film, and he released a lot of these great movies. He was a one-man show. I know he got a lot of flack, and he didn't have the best of business practices, but he did his best, and he's sorely missed. And I used to keep in touch with him quite a bit. I talked to him a lot. He would watch my videos. We would communicate through WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. And I was very sad the day I found he passed away. I know he was going into business a little bit at the end with David DeFalco from Dark Force, and they were releasing some stuff. I think David is still releasing some of the older Code Red titles. I do have some of those. I'll show those here at the end. Just found out recently too. One of the viewers here left a comment and said that his brother Walt Olson from Scorpion Releasing had passed away, and that's also kind of hard to take because both of those guys were great. You know, they were fans of movies. They were releasing these great movies for us to enjoy. And I know Walt, not only did he have the Scorpion label, but he was also helping out quite a bit with Kino Lorber, and he was a big, kind of a big shot over there. So those guys are going to be missed, but they can live on through our collections, and I'm very glad to have these movies. And before we get into this entire collection here, I just want to show you that I recently picked up this movie off of Amazon. This is the Puffin Stuff movie from the wonderful world of Sid and Marty Krofft. I had no idea this was a Code Red release. I do have this whole series on DVD, which it's pretty hard to find now, and it's kind of pricey. I never owned the movie, so I picked it up, and I had no idea that it was a Code Red movie. There, now you can see the spine. Now it's not. Oh man, sorry about that. I guess you can kind of see it. So the Code Red spines are not numbered anymore. So Bill he stopped numbering them at the end, and I'll show you what I mean when I get to some of those. But for the most part, these are numbered. And this is kind of a sneak peek because I haven't even shown this in a update video yet, which will be in my next update video, which will not be for several weeks yet, but I just wanted to show that. So that's the latest code red I have. And I'm gonna lean forward here in my chair, and we're gonna go through from spine 1, and we're just gonna keep pounding these out until we're done. This is gonna be a long video, and it'll be a fun video though. First one here is called the electric chair, spine 1. This, I'm not going to be able to go through every movie like this, otherwise it's going to be like a 3-hour movie. But this movie is from 1975. I put that in a black case. The next one is called Voices from Beyond. This was one of the last movies from Fulci. One of his last movies. Let me see if I can shut these blinds really quick, if it'll make a difference in the glare. I think that might look a little bit better. I try to get as much natural light as I can during the day because it's been kind of overcast lately, so get a little bit of that fresh sunshine through here. The next one is spine number 3, Nail Gun Massacre. Is that coming off pretty good, or do I need more light? Let me see if I can open it just a little bit. This is the kind of stuff you get in a Toddy Walnuts video. This is all amateur foolishness. But I want to make the video good for you guys who are watching it. So, spine 4, I like this one a lot. This is a backwoods slasher called Just Before Dawn. Pretty cool killer. George Kennedy is in here. Here's a cult classic from the 80s, starring Linda Blair. Savage Streets, a revenge movie. John Vernon is also in there too. He was always a good actor. Next one is The Redeemer, Son of Satan. This one's pretty good. This is a pretty good slasher movie called Nightmare. This is the 35th anniversary edition. Kind of a mafiosi type movie. Family Honor. And we have some blaxploitation called the Black Gestapo, also called Ghetto Warriors. And this one's called Weekend Murders. It's an 80s action movie starring William Catt. And this is White Ghost. This is the uncut version. There's another 80s kind of a very colorful monster movie, Neon Maniacs. Over the top kind of with gore in there. This one's called Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary. It's a movie from the 70s, I believe. Man, the print is so fine on these things. I'm not even going to mess with that. The next one is called House on the Edge of the Park, starring the great David Hess, who was always a real bastard. When he was a villain, he played a great bad guy. Very, very fine actor. Kind of a 70s sexploitation type movie called Brute Core. And this one's called Trapped, kind of a backwoods hillbilly slasher starring Henry Silva. It's kind of a high school slasher movie called Sweet 16. 40th anniversary of Messiah of Evil, the Second Coming. This is kind of a satanic type movie. The Eerie Midnight Horror Show. And this was directed by Mario Hold on a second. Mario Gariazzo. I really don't know much about this movie. I've never watched it yet. They're calling it a sick Italian flick, grindhouse style. I still need to watch that. I'm interested in it. I mean, the title sounds cool. I just haven't gotten around to watch it yet. The next one is a post-apocalyptic collection, The People Who Own the Dark. I thought this was a vampire movie too, but I guess could be wrong about that. The next one's called Lady Stay Dead. It's by number 20 if you're keeping score at home. And another kind of a 70s sexploitation type movie, The Cheerleaders. 1973. Unrated, all region. Uncut. The next one is kind of a low budget mafia movie, The Sicilian Connection, starring Ben Gazzara. This movie's pretty good. I like these 70s movies like this, the crime movies and the cop movies from the 70s. These are fun. This is a good watch. Another one in that same vein is a Deadly Hero. Very young James Earl Jones, and Treat Williams is also in here. Look at James Earl Jones. He's kind of he's like a street pimp. He's not really good, but he's not quite bad. He's somewhere in between. I guess he is bad. Anybody who would put a knife to a broad's throat is not good. I watched this, but I remembered he was giving information to the cops, but I guess not. This one came out in 1975. Spoiler alert, you can see James Earl Jones laying in a pool of blood. Looks like it might be his own blood. Next one is called The Headless Eyes. This one came out in 1971. That's one of the things I really enjoyed about this company is there was a lot of drive-in style, grindhouse style movies, but there was also a lot of different genres. There was a lot of horror, there was some film noir, there was some spaghetti westerns, there's crime, Italian mafia movies, Italian crime films, cop movies, blaxploitation, stuff like that, backwoods slashers, and some really good stuff. There was some very well-known movies, and then there was also some movies, quite a few movies that were obscure and very rare. So I really enjoyed this company. The next one is called Zombie Nightmare. This was kind of a more modern zombie movie. It has Adam West and Tia Carrera in here. I think this was from the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Oh, 86. I was thinking more like 91, but I was off. I was wrong. Get Adam West with that excellent mustache. There's a young Tia. The next one is called The Vampire's Night Orgy. And this one came out in 1974. There's another kind of a high school sexploitation type movie, Revenge of the Cheerleaders. You guessed it. Hasselhoff is in there. I think this was his first movie. I believe this was his very first movie. You don't hassle the Hoff, right? 1976. There he is again. Looking a little bit like Bruce Jenner, I gotta say. Another blaxploitation movie, Brotherhood of Death. Andy Milligan goodness here, The Man with Two Heads. This one came out in, I think, here we go with Roman numerals down here. 50, 60, 71 maybe? I think 1971. L is 50, X is 10, so L XXI would be 71, I think. Another Andy Milligan movie, Torture Dungeon. These are pretty fun because they're very low budget, but there's some heart to them. Again, with the Roman numerals, so let's see what we got here. Man, this phone is garbage. Absolute garbage. MCM, so let's see, 1970. I'm doing something wrong with the phone. I got to research it. There's no reason why you should have to keep tapping the glass. That's bogus. I have it on the wrong setting or something. Here's Bloodthirsty Butchers. This one came out in 1970 as well. These are movies that many of these I would have never heard of or even watched or even had on my radar if it wasn't for companies like Code Red. Companies like Code Red and Scorpion were really good at releasing these obscure movies. Vinegar Syndrome kind of took the torch and they're running with it. They do a lot of the same. I really appreciate these companies. Here's a movie called this. If this title doesn't draw you in, I don't know what will. The Rats Are Coming, The Werewolves Are Here. And the title's probably better than the movie, to be honest. But this one's from 1972, and I haven't been saying the spy numbers, but this is number 33. And that is the end of shelf 1, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. Okay, shelf 2, let's go. Spine 34. 2 movies. So you get Legacy of Satan and Blood. We have some 80s action. The Devastator. Let me see, when did that come out? Came out 1985. Dune Warriors, Roger Corman, post-apocalyptic movie starring David Carradine. Another slasher movie called The Love Butcher. Creature feature movie called The Strangeness. Halloween horror movie called Trick or Treats. Another movie starring David Carradine, Steve Railsback, Carrie Snodgrass. The Obsessed One, another kind of a religious type horror movie. I think David Hess is in here as well. Is that David Hess right there? It sure looks like him, but I don't see his name on the back. It says Donald Jones. It looks like David Hess. It could be that I'm completely wrong, and I probably am completely wrong, but it looked like him to me. Where are we at here now? Let's see. The Devil's Wedding Night, starring Mark Damon. Another kind of a devil, satanic type movie. Another Roger Corman post-apocalyptic movie called Wings of Fire. And Roger Corman post-apoc called The Sisterhood. Check this one out. That looks pretty awesome. And you look at the top tagline up there, in 2021, all women are slaves. Well, that didn't happen. Where are we at here now? The Equalizer 2000, another Roger Corman post-apoc. These are great covers, man. Brad Dourif in Spontaneous Combustion, directed by Tobe Hooper, the great Tobe Hooper. We have Terror Circus. This one was also known as Barn of the Naked Dead, right? Is that? Let me see. Andrew Prine. Yeah, this was also, I believe, it doesn't say here on the back, but I'm like 99.9% positive this was also called Barn of the Naked Dead. And it's a pretty terrible movie. Like, stay away from it. Do not. It's complete trash. The next one here is called Retribution, the Ultimate Nightmare. 30th anniversary edition for the first time on Blu-ray. Possessed child movie. Kind of a Exorcist ripoff. Night Child. Killer Chimp. Shakma. This one's pretty freaky, man. These monkeys, whatever these are, it's actually a baboon, a red ass baboon, and it escapes from a laboratory in Florida. But these animals in real life are absolutely terrifying. I mean, they have unbelievable strength. They have very sharp teeth. They can, if they want, pick somebody apart bone by bone in a matter of minutes, and this thing gets loose and it's on a rampage. Roger Corman presents Pit Stop. Is this a Walter Hill movie? I'm sorry, Jack Hill. It is Jack Hill. 1969. I got 80s action. Silk. She bangs them, breaks them, and books them. She bangs them. I didn't make that up. She is pretty hot, though. I in the Labyrinth. This is spine number 52. The uncut edition of Knife for the Ladies, starring Jack Elam. Everybody knows Jack Elam, probably most famous in my era for being the crazy doctor in Cannonball Run, not Cannibal Run, Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and a cast of giants. Dean Martin and Sammy were in it, and Roger Moore was in it. Adrienne Barbeau was in it. There was a ton of A-listers on that movie. Well, anyway, Jack Elam was that crazy doctor in the back of the ambulance who kept giving himself injections, and he's got those crazy eyes, like one eye is fishing and the other eye is hunting. But he was a great actor. Creepy ass looking guy, but a great actor. Some Fred the Hammer here. There's a couple of them back to back. This is called Mean Johnny Barrows, Blaxploitation Uncut, and Death Journey. They're fun movies. He's still with us. He's got to be in his 80s. Got to be. I believe he's still active as far as going to cons and stuff like that. I don't think he's acting anymore, but he's still out and about in the circuit, signing autographs and stuff like that. God bless him. He was a great actor. Next one's called Maniac, a Killer, not to be confused with the Joe Spinell Maniac. This is a completely different movie. This one does have one of my favorite actors of all time, though, Oliver Reed. There he is right there. Oliver Reed was a great actor, one of the best to ever do it, but he was a very troubled person in real life, and he drank himself to death. He couldn't get over the sauce, and it ended up killing him. Now these next two are the same movie. It was released without a slipcover originally. This is called The Forest. I love this movie. It's a great backwoods slasher movie. This was Spy Number 59, and then a few years later, they re-released it, and this time they had a slipcover with it. So I picked that up because that slipcover is pretty awesome. Had to get it. I really enjoy this movie. I had to get that slipcover. And the next one is called Devil Times 5, also known as Horrible House on the Hill. Kind of a home invasion type, shocking suspense type horror. Let's see here. The next one is called Truck Stop Women, Spy Number 61. It says her rig was too big for them to handle. But Claudia Jennings is in here, and she was gorgeous. She was a tasty little snack, I'll tell you, but I think she died very young. I don't think she made 40. I'm not sure. The next one here is called Nightfall, the sci-fi movie from Isaac Asimov, who did the story, I think, or the screenplay. Next one is called Acapulco Gold. This one I have not watched yet. Don't know anything about it. 1976. This one I watched is not bad. It was okay, but I would watch it again. It's called Mardi Gras Massacre. Pretty good little low budget slasher from 1976, I believe. Pretty good practical effects in there. Next one is a twin bill, and you guys saw this recently in my Bigfoot collection overview if you watched it. This one has Sasquatch. It also has a movie that has nothing to do with Bigfoot called Encounter with the Unknown. It was a anthology movie, horror anthology that was narrated by the great Rod Serling from Twilight Zone. And the last one on this shelf is Spy Number 68. It's called Stigma. It stars Philip Michael Thomas from Miami Vice. There you see him there. And this one came out in 1972. So that will conclude shelf 2. I'm going to take a little break here for a minute, and I'll get back at it. For my break, it's probably going to be 15-20 minutes, but for you, it's going to be an instant shelf 3. Shelf 3, let's go. So this was a great release, I thought, from Code Red. Spy Number 69. This is called Black Candles. This was kind of a rare movie, and it was hard to get. I have to be careful because some of these covers have images that shouldn't be shown here on YouTube, but try my best not to show those. This was kind of a rare find on DVD, and then when it was released on Blu-ray, it was definitely a first day purchase for me. It's a pretty good movie. Next one is Spy Number 70, called Necromancy, starring Orson Welles. An occult type movie. There's the great Orson Welles, who is from the great state of Wisconsin. He was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is about maybe 25 minutes south of me. But he died and was buried in Spain, so I don't know what that's all about. But I mean, Spain is a beautiful place. I wouldn't mind going. I don't know if I'd want to be buried there, but I would definitely like to visit. Anyway, the movie's from 72. That's why my videos are so long. I get to talk, and I apologize. Let's just stick to the script here, which there is no script ever on my videos. It's just kind of a point and click and just go freestyle here. This is called Headhunter creature feature, Black Magic Monster. 19, I don't know if it says 88. The print is so fine down there. Looks like 88 to me. It actually looked more clear on my phone than it did from my peepers. All right. Next one is Soul Survivor. This is kind of a sci-fi movie, and it was kind of in the same vein as like Final Destination, where you can't cheat death type of a movie. Death is chasing these actors here. Doesn't have a year. I believe this came out before any of the Final Destination movies. And it's not exactly like a Final Destination movie, but it's similar. The next one, another blaxploitation, kind of a voodoo type of a movie called Lord Shango. Kind of a summer comedy type movie, Hot Moves. 80s action called Mission Kill. Cameron Mitchell's in there. I think this is kind of like a hillbilly comedy called Moonshine County Express. The great John Saxon is in here. Also, William Conrad is in here. Claudia Jennings again. And even Maureen McCormick, who was Marcia in the Brady Bunch. She's in here as well. Caged Men. I would rather watch a movie about caged women. I'm not sure what this is. I haven't watched it yet. But if it's... I'm not sure I want to watch men wrestling around without shirts on, really. I'd rather watch the caged women. But I think that makes me sound like a weirdo, too. So let's just keep moving. The next one is called Simon, King of the Witches, starring Andrew Prine again. This is a pretty good low-budget sci-fi alien movie from the 80s called Mutant, starring Wings Hauser. I really like him as an actor. I think he's pretty great. Also, Bo Hopkins. Both of these guys are kind of, they made their bones as B-movie actors, and I think they're actually probably two of the better B-movie actors out there, especially Wings Hauser. I think he's great. Slaughterhouse Rock. Nice little kind of a demon movie with a great soundtrack. We have Running Scared. This also has John Saxon and Judge Reinhold. This is not the Running Scared that starred Billy Crystal. It's a completely different movie. This one's called Girl Schools in Chains. Here we go. And this is another one of those creepy ass women being abused type. A lot of skin, right, in these movies. These were probably shown on HBO late at night, or maybe even probably Cinemax or Showtime. Here's Happy Hell Night, starring Darren McGavin. Darren McGavin was the father in A Christmas Story, and he was also Kolchak, the Night Stalker. He was a great actor too. This is one of his later roles. 1990, I believe. Next one is called Mark of the Witch. I still haven't watched this yet, but I do like these witch type movies. I think they're pretty good. I kind of like the whole lore about a witch. Here's a double bill. They're calling it a sexy double feature. So you get those mad movie makers, and you get, gosh, it's me, Alice Goodbody. I think Alice Goodbody is Claudia Jennings. Let me see here. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Alice Goodbody was played by Sharon Kelly. Duke Mitchell. Uh, okay, I'm kind of wasting time here, but I was just looking at some of the actors and actresses. There weren't a lot of names I recognized, but maybe you guys would. I don't know. I'm gonna keep moving on. This is a pretty good slasher movie. This is Scream, but not to be confused with Scream. You know, the more polished, I guess, Ghostface Killer Scream. This one came out years before that actually, and it's not nearly as good as the more polished, the newer Scream, but this was pretty good. Very low budget. This one's called Group Marriage. Claudia Jennings is in here. Um, there she is. She was really, really gorgeous. I don't remember how she died, but I do remember she died very early. I think it might have been an automobile accident in California. I'll have to double check that. I'll let you guys know at the end, because after I'm done with these shelves here, some of you guys have been asking about the dogs, so I'm going to take this into the other room and I'll take some footage of the dogs to show you guys, and then by then I'll have looked up when or how Claudia Jennings passed away. Which one did we just look at? We looked at Group Marriage. Now this one's called Working Girls. A lot of gorgeous women, but no names that I really recognize, except for, Cassandra Peterson. Elvira was in here. This must have been a very early role for her. And I got to give it up to Elvira. She really remained attractive throughout her whole life. She's got to be in her 70s now. And I mean, she's banging. Good for her. I noticed that women in general are really looking way better longer. I mean, some of these broads in their 40s and 50s look like they're in their 30s. It's pretty amazing. See, I get off on these little tangents. You guys don't care about that. Anyway, this movie came out in 1974. So this movie came out 50 years ago. So I'm guessing if Elvira, I'm going to say she's 72, and that's just a complete guess. So she must have been about 22-ish in this movie. I bet you she looked amazing. Next one is called Blast Fighter. This is this is an Italian kind of an 80s action flick directed by the son of Mario Bava, Lamberto Bava, who was a good director in his own right. His father paved the way for many filmmakers, and Lamberto followed suit. He's very good at what he did. This is another one from Lenzi. This is another Italian movie, this time from Lenzi. This one has George Eastman in it, another one of my favorite actors, called Iron Master. Kind of a Conan the Barbarian type movie. I'm not going to call it a ripoff because it's not exactly like Conan, other than there's barbarians in the movie. But this one came out in 1983. So maybe it was kind of cashing in on the success of Conan. When did Conan come out? In 81, 82? Something like that. I'm not sure. Next one is called Hide and Go Shriek. It says, in the terrifying tradition of Friday the 13th and Halloween. Another kind of a low budget slasher. These are right up my alley. These are my favorite types of movies. So for me, I can never really go wrong with a slasher movie like this or a backwoods type movie. Those are my favorite. Even if these are bad movies, I still find some enjoyment in them. And anyway, this was from 1987, and it's spine number 92. There's some more Italian horror here. This is Delirium, another Lamberto Bava. Photo of Giora. I don't know how to pronounce that. Serena Grandi is in here. George Eastman is in here, and Daria Nicolodi, who was married to Dario Argento and is the mother of Asia Argento. Daria has passed away. Serena Grandi, when she was young, she was absolutely gorgeous. She was very curvy, very, very pretty. But if you look her up now, she did not age very well. She's a cow. I mean, she's got to be 300. I know that sounds mean to say, but I'm just being honest. Is that her? That might be her. I can't really tell. But she was, I mean, in her early days when she was in some of these horror movies, she was almost a 10, and now she's 300. The next one here is The Hills Have Eyes 3. Not a very good movie, especially if you compare it to The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2. It falls way short. They should have renamed this or retitled it something different so it didn't have to kind of live up to the first two movies. And maybe it would have done a little bit better. I don't know. But The Hills Have Eyes 3, aka Mind Ripper, it has Lance Henriksen in it, but even he couldn't really save the movie for me. I mean, it's not that good. Just being honest. Maybe some of you guys like it. That's fine. The next one here is called Beyond the Door. Comes with this nice slipcover. Another kind of a satanic exorcist kind of a ripoff. And let's see what the I don't really have. You guys may remember it with that. Let's see if I can just pull this out. You guys may remember it better from that cover, because when they released the slipcover, that was completely new, and I had to grab that. I only remembered the other cover. And I had that on DVD for many, many years before that Blu-ray came out, and I still have it, and you'll see that at the end here. I'm going to show the DVDs last. Next one is called Zeter. This one has a different title. It's called Revenge of the Dead. And again, this was a completely brand new slipcover that was new to me when it came out, and you may remember it better by that title. And it's actually a pretty good zombie movie. It's not bad. It was pretty enjoyable to me anyway. The next one is called The Jigsaw Murders, and not to be confused with Saw. Obviously, it's again, if you try to compare it to the Saw franchise, this will fall way short. And it's okay, but it's not. Yaphet Kotto is in it. He's passed away now, but he was always a great actor. Kind of had a James Earl Jones type voice, kind of a deep voice, and he was always a good actor. He always kind of played a bubbly, kind of cheery good guy. He was a great character actor, though. Here's another Italian zombie movie. This one's called The Dead Are Alive, starring Alex Cord, who also, there he is right there. He looks a lot like Maurizio Merli, and he looks a little bit like John Holmes, too. He played in a lot of genre movies, a lot of Italian movies. He played in some spaghetti westerns, too, as well as some other horror movies. It's pretty fun, pretty good movie. That was number 98. Number 99. It's called Savage Attraction. They're calling this the true story of a 16-year-old girl looking for excitement and the men who turned her innocence into something savage. Ugh. Another one of those movies where you feel like you need a shower after. Scrub yourself with bleach. The next movie is a post-apocalyptic horror movie called In the Aftermath. If I remember, this one was kind of like The Crazies, sort of. If you guys remember George A. Romero's The Crazies, where there was kind of a pandemic and the government was killing citizens to kind of cleanse the earth. Here's another, this is another Italian action movie from the 80s called Hands of Steel, directed by Sergio Martino, and it has John Saxon and George Eastman in it. Both very good actors. This one came out in 1986. And the last one then for shelf 3, another 80s kind of an action movie called Cocaine Wars, starring Bo Duke, John Schneider. A lone American hero challenges the might of a vicious drug empire. 1987. So he was riding high on the success of Dukes of Hazzard at that time. I think that's right around the time when it ended, maybe 87. I could be wrong about that. But he jumped right into acting after that, into some of these feature movies. But he was never really a top bill actor. He was never really a A-level actor. So that is the end of shelf 3. Let's move on to shelf 4. Okay, shelf 4. Where are you at? Where are you at, shelf 4? Right here. Another Italian action movie from the 80s. Sergio Martino's After the Fall of New York, and it does have George Eastman again in it. There he is right there. And if he looks like he's gigantic compared to the other actors, that's because he is. I think he's 6'8". And George Eastman is still with us too. God bless him. He was a great actor. This came out in 1983. Next one is called Deadly Dreams. And I think this one was is this an alien movie? I think this was an alien movie. Next one is Spy Number 106, and this one is called Nam Angels. Vernon Wells again in here. And this one came out in 1988. Is that what that says down there? Looks like 88. And looks like it's kind of a revenge or like a rescue mission type movie from Americans trying to take back some of the POWs from the Vietnam War. This one has a very powerful cast. You have Richard Harris, who was one of the best to ever do it, and Christopher Plummer, who was very good in his own right. And then you have Beverly D'Angelo, she was a fun actress. She was in some good stuff, some stuff I grew up with watching as a kid. She was in some of the vacation movies and stuff like that. I always enjoyed Beverly D'Angelo. 1981 that came out. Next one is called Last Plane Out. And Jan Michael Vincent is in here. And pretty tragic story about his life. Jan Michael Vincent was a good actor, and he no homo, but he was a good-looking guy, and he really destroyed his life with drugs, and he died a very horrible death. And I think they were removing body parts, and he was going blind, and he gained a lot of weight. He lost all his hair, and he died at a fairly young age because the drugs took over, man. Tore his ass up, ate him alive. Next one is a documentary called Being Different, narrated by Christopher Plummer, who we just talked about moments ago. And this is basically just a documentary about some of the strange things, that's Sandy something. I can't remember her name, but she was the tallest woman who ever lived. And then there's a skateboarder with one leg and no arms, and you got this guy here. He's got, I don't even know what that is. He's got like three faces on top of each other. And I'm not trying to make fun of any of these people because this is horrible. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of people's disabilities. That's terrible. These guys here, I remember these twins, or whatever you call them. They were the Galleons, I think. Is that what their name was? They were conjoined, and they lived for a pretty decent amount of time. And just one day, one of them died. And of course, not very long after the other one died. Can you imagine being attached to another human? I mean, how horrible that would be, especially face to face. That's got to be awful, man. So anytime you think you have it rough in life, or you think things are bad, just think of this kind of stuff. Like, how would you? I mean, this guy. There was an old saying. I used to complain about my shoes until I met the guy with no feet. Think about that. The next one's called The Terror Within 2, kind of a creature feature movie. I thought this was pretty good. I liked it. There's the monster there. All right. Here's another 80s action movie starring Henry Silva. This one, oh, I'm sorry, 1977, so it's even a little bit earlier than the 80s. They're calling it a 70s Hong Kong action picture, a Mondo movie. Gotta switch positions here because my wrist was starting to fall asleep a little bit. Here's some blaxploitation called Baby Needs a New Pair of Shoes. This one got a new transfer in 2016. Right. Next one's called This Is a Hijack. This one was also from the 70s. Neville Brand is in here. He was always a great actor. I always enjoyed Neville Brand. He was in a lot of westerns too. This is from 1973. Oop, almost dropped it. But I got reflexes like a cat. All right. Here's a twin bill. Starting to have a hard time here with focusing again. Shelf 3 was pretty good. Last House on Massacre Street and Wild Little Bunch. Ultra low budget. Next one's called Julie Darling, starring Sybil Danning. She was always gorgeous too. She was in some of the Howling movies. A knockout babe, Sybil Danning is. So these next two are the same movie, but it was a re-release. So this is called Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, and this was the first release of the movie. This is spine number 118, by the way. And Bo Svensson is in here, and Bill Paxton, a very early role for Bill there. Let's see if we can see Bill. Very, very early role. And then they re-released it years later with this slipcover, and I'm a sucker, so yeah, I bought it. I like that slipcover though. I think it's really good. The movie's okay. It's not bad. It's kind of middle of the road. It's enjoyable. And we have some more blaxploitation. This is blaxploitation, sexploitation, and interracial exploitation, if that's even a word. So you have Quadroon, the black mandingo, and right there, they break it down what her ethnicity is. Here, if I can get this fucking thing to focus, man. God dang. This is really starting to make me mad. So we have a quarter black and 3/4 white, but all woman. I'm sorry about that, but man, it's starting to be really irritating. The next one's called The Great Alligator. It's a Italian creature feature movie about a giant alligator. Barbara Bach is in here. She's gorgeous. I always liked her. It's another Sergio Martino movie. The alligator looks pretty good in this movie. This is a fun watch. It's a late night creature feature movie. Cry of a Prostitute, starring Henry Silva. Barbara Boucher. Barbara Boucher was also a gorgeous blonde. I think she died early too. This one's called The Power. I remember this was released on DVD by Scorpion Releasing, and then Code Red released this on Blu-ray. I apologize about losing my cool and cussing like that. That's not good, and you guys don't deserve to hear that. I felt like just dumping that last segment, but I'm going to keep it in, and I'm just going to keep rolling. Hopefully you guys will forgive me for that. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's pretty childish to lose it like that. So the next one is Spy number 126. It's called One Dark Night, kind of a zombie type movie starring Meg Tilly. She was another one. She was really cute and sexy when she was younger, and then she kind of put on a ton of weight. Adam West is in this one as well. I enjoy that movie. It's pretty fun. It's an 80s movie, maybe even early 90s. I can't remember. Here's Bill Shatner in Kingdom of the Spiders. This is a classic. Kind of a silly movie, over the top acting. But William Shatner was always he's in his 90s. He's still with us. And he was always fun to watch. This one came out in 1977. Next one's called Top of the Heap. And I don't know anything about this. So it says George is a man, crossed it out, a black man, crossed that out, a black pig. So it looks like it's maybe a blaxploitation movie about a black cop. Next one is called Corrupt, starring Harvey Keitel and Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. I think his real name was John Lydon or something like that, and they call him Johnny Rotten here on the cover. Let's see, this movie must have been from the 70s. A perverse and offbeat film. It says, like Leone with his westerns, this is a spaghetti thriller. Who did this movie? Okay, it doesn't say who did. Oh, directed by Roberto Baenza, and it does have music by Ennio Morricone, though. That's pretty good. Next one's called Out of Control, starring Betsy Russell. This one came out in 1984. This one's called The Slasher is a Sex Maniac. This has to be another 70s movie, but it doesn't say on the back what year it came out. Next one is called So Sweet, So Dead. It's the same movie. The same exact movie, right? Hold on a minute. Farley Granger. Is this the same movie? Let's see here. So, yeah, it's the same exact movie. It just has two different titles. I probably knew that at one point. Let me see if this one has a reversible cover. No, it doesn't. I must have known that it was the same movie because I put them side by side. And this was the original release of it. This is Spy Number 131. And then when this one came out, it doesn't have a spy number, but I had it side by side. So at one point I must have known that, and I completely forgot about that. But it's the same exact movie, just two different titles. Next one's called The Last Hunter. Tisa Farrow is in here, and she just recently passed away. She was the sister of Mia Farrow. And Tisa, right there, she was in a lot of horror movies. She was in Fulci's Zombie. And sorry to hear that she passed away recently. Bobby Rhodes is also in here, and David Warbeck. So this is a pretty decent cast as far as some of the horror movie icons that we kind of grew up watching over the years. Here's Jungle Holocaust. It's a great cover. Deodato movie. Mimi Lai is in here. She was a gorgeous, I don't know if she was a Vietnamese actress. She was an Asian actress. I just don't remember where exactly her home was. But she was a doll, man. She was absolutely like a 10. Beautiful woman. I didn't see her on the back. I was going to show you who she is. That's the alternate title, called The Last Survivor. And hopefully see if I can open this up and find Mimi Lai. If she's not in here, then you guys can Google her, but she's absolutely stunning. She was often very scantily clothed. She was very nice to look at. Next one is a Italian giallo movie called Seven Blood-Stained Orchids. Umberto Lenzi. This one I had on DVD for many years, and was glad to get this on a Blu-ray upgrade, called Warlock Moon. Another kind of a witch story, witchcraft. This one's called The Dark. Kathy Lee Crosby is in here. Richard Jackal, Keenan Wynn. It's a great cast. There's Richard Jackal right there. Kathy Lee Crosby. This one came out in 1978. William Devane right there, too. Looks like a possession movie, a demons type movie. And these don't have a number, so I just kind of stuck them in here. And this one's actually going to be going to a new home. This is part of the giveaway that I'm going to be doing for the Bigfoot films, which I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be pulling the winners from that contest next weekend. I'll leave a little community tab and kind of give an update on how many people had entered the contest. And it's been a pretty good turnout. But this is going to be going to a new home. This is Screams of a Winter Night. It's a Code Red movie, but it doesn't have a spine number. And then this is the slipcover edition of it that came out later. This was the original first release of it, and that's the one that you're going to be getting is the first release of it. And this is the second release with a slipcover. And I really enjoyed this movie. I was it started out kind of slow, but I was glad that I stuck with it because it paid off. It was pretty good. It's an anthology movie about these grown-ups that get to a a camp in the middle of the woods. It's not a camp. It's more like a cottage, like a log cabin type deal. And they sit around telling each other stories, and it's like 4 or 5 different stories, kind of an anthology movie, and it's pretty good. I thought it was good. One of the stories in the anthology was a Bigfoot here you see on the cover, and I think that was the best, probably the best segment from that anthology. So that is the end of shelf 4. We have 2 more shelves to go. All right, so shelf number 5, here we come. It's getting a little bit lower here. So the first one is a twin bill. This is spy number 138. You get Lightning Bolt, and you get the resurrection of Zachary Wheeler. Funny enough, you get Leslie Nielsen and Angie Dickinson together in a movie. And I always thought Dickinson was gorgeous. She's still with us too. She's in her 90s. Unfortunately, Leslie Nielsen has passed. He was a great actor. He was in some really good stuff. I sent a message to Angie Dickinson. She's on Facebook. I sent her a message on Facebook Messenger, pretty much fawning over her, telling her how much I loved her, as a, not in a weird way, telling her that I think she's great, loved her movies and this and that. And I saw that she read it, but she never responded. So I was kind of like, what. I still love Angie Dickinson. She doesn't have time for me. She's 93 something years old, and she doesn't want to answer to. She probably gets dozens, if not hundreds, of messages a week. So I'm not going to take it personal, but it would have been nice for her to at least say hi or something. That would have made my day. But anyway, here's another twin billing. There I go rambling again. So we have The House of Insane Women, and we have Passion Plantation. Both of these movies are definitely from the 70s. See what I mean about how obscure some of these are? I would have never even heard of any of these titles. It's another twin bill. You got Texas Detour and Cuba Crossing. This one has Robert Vaughn in it. Right there. Robert Vaughn. And Cameron Mitchell. I'm looking for Patrick Wayne. Okay, I see him. There's Cameron Mitchell. We all know him. But there's Patrick Wayne, who was John Wayne's son. I recognize that guy too. Wasn't he in Mork and Mindy? Oh man. Oh, Priscilla Barnes is in here too. There she is right there. Wow. Next one's called They Call Me Bruce. Hold on, I got an itch on my face. No, I didn't scratch it with the Blu-ray. I scratched it with my finger, but this is I think this is kind of a comedy, like a judo comedy movie. Enter the Dragon meets the Three Stooges. So there you go. 1982. Next one is another twin bill. You get Devil Woman and Dragons Never Die, in the tradition of the great Bruce Lee. These are, well, this one, the first feature is in HD, and then the second one, here we go again. Second one is in standard def, so you're getting like a DVD quality second movie. Okay, where are we here now? We just did that one. Next one's called The Hot Touch, and this is with Wayne Rogers, who played, he was in MASH. He was, he wasn't Honeycutt. Honeycutt was, oh, I can't think of his name now. I know he was in MASH, and he was the funnier one because when they brought in Honeycutt after this guy left, Honeycutt was more kind of a bleeding heart liberal kind of character who fit in perfect with Alan Alda, who was also a bleeding heart liberal. This guy here was more of a kind of a jokester, and MASH was much better at that time. They started to get a political agenda on the show, and it just wasn't as good anymore. To me, this is called The Curious Female. 1969. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. This is a very long video. I doubt anybody's even still with me anymore here. So this one's called Race for Glory. I'll be honest, the only reason I bought this one is because it was a Code Red title that I needed for the collection. I've never watched it. I'm not really into racing at all. I don't care about NASCAR. I don't care about these motorcycles, really. I mean, I like cars and stuff. I'm just not into watching somebody drive in a circle round and round and round. I just don't get into it, man. Some people do. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not my thing. Next one's called Sweet Baby Charlie. A black and white movie here from, looks like probably the 50s. It says rated R. This one's good, though. This next one is a nice creature feature. A monster in a rubber suit called Slithus. It's pretty ridiculous, but it's a fun watch. Another creature feature in a rubber suit. The Being. I was going to send this one to Ruth Buzzy is in here. Ruth Buzzy, you may remember her from, she was in a lot of comedy stuff in the 70s. And she was in Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. She was one of the stars in that show. She was also in a lot of Dean Martin roasts. She was very popular in that era as a comedian. She was great. Well, she had poor health lately. Over the last couple of years, she had a couple strokes, and she wasn't doing very well. She was in the hospital, and then she was sent home. And I guess to kind of help her pass time, they were encouraging fans to send her things, and she was willing to sign and send them back. But people were sending her flowers and candy and cards to get well soon and balloons, and people were really reaching out to her. She's got to be in her 90s as well. And I was going to send this cover to her and have it signed, but I thought maybe that's not the best thing to do, especially if she's not feeling well. I was going to send this in, but I didn't. But she's in this movie. And I'm sure you guys remember Ruth Buzzy. She was great. She used to have like the hair net and her hair pulled back. And she used to hit everybody with her purse. She used to carry this big kind of clunky purse, and she would use it as a weapon to hit people on the head with it. It was just part of her gag, part of her shtick. And it was hilarious. Really like Ruth Buzzy. Here's Emmanuel and the Deadly Black Cobra, starring Jack Palance and Laura Gemser. She was another gorgeous babe, Laura, right there. Wow. And everybody knows Jack Palance. He was always a creepy guy. He played a great villain. He was always a villain. And he was the host for Ripley's Believe It or Not for a while. He was great, but he was just kind of he would command attention just how kind of creepy he was and how he talked. But he was a great actor. And Laura, look at how gorgeous Laura looks. She was a doll. Okay, I took a little break again, and we left off with Laura Gemser, Emmanuel. So the next one is called The Witch Maker. It's another beautiful cover. I haven't even watched this one yet. Their form is human, but they have crossed over. Is this sex after death? Like I said, I do enjoy these witchcraft type movies. I think they're really good. Looks like this one's from 1969. It's rated M for mature. It's all region for my friends overseas if you want to get this one as well. Next one is called The Concrete Jungle, and this one is spy number 153. Stars Jill St. John. Another women in prison type movies. There's a ton of these. This one came out in 1982. This one, I believe, is an Australian horror movie starring Michael Berryman, and Karen Black is also in here. Richard Lynch is in here as well. This is called Cut and Run. This was a this was a pretty good movie. You can see Willie Ames, who was in. I remember him most from Charles in Charge. I thought that was a great show with Scott Baio and Nicole Eggert. She was a gorgeous babe. But anyway, Willie Ames was in that show, and I think he was in some other stuff in the 70s. I think he was in Blue Lagoon with Brooke Shields. I could be wrong about that, but there's Michael Berryman. Unmistakable Michael Berryman. You can pick him out of a lineup for sure. Got a head like a bell end. Great actor, though. Be careful what you wish for, I guess. I was Facebook friends with Michael Berryman. He's very fan friendly, but be careful what you wish for because he has some political rantings. I had to unfriend his ass, and I'll never go back. He is ridiculous with his left wing bullshit. He's got a lot of left wing nonsense, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I got rid of his ass. But yeah, anyway. I'm kind of crabby today, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm going to get through this here. Jeff Fahey, another kind of a B movie, big shot, I guess. Serpent's Lair. Jeff Fahey he's been in some other stuff too, some better than B movies. But when I think of Jeff Fahey, I think of kind of like B movies, like this one. He's a good actor. I take nothing away from him at all. He's a great actor. Just never really achieved like A-level status, in my opinion. This one's called The Apartment on the 13th Floor. Spanish horror movie, it looks like. I don't know anything about this. Haven't watched it. So these next two are the same exact movie. They just have two different covers. David Warbeck stars in this one. He was always a great actor. He's no longer with us either, but this is a good little splatter flick called Panic. And this one was I think this was from the 80s. It's either late 70s, early 80s. So that's one cover of it there. And then that's spine number 158. And then it was re-released without a spine number. And this is the new cover. Not sure why they did that, but they did. There's an Italian polizioteschi movie, an Italian cop movie called Violent Professionals. Sergio Martino, one of the greatest to ever do it. And I really love these crime movies from the 70s, the mafia movies, the cop buddy movies, and just the tough cop guy. You know, the Charles Bronsons of the world and these guys like this. These are great movies. It's a good movie. It's a fun watch. Here's Almost Human, starring Tomas Milian and Henry Silva. Tomas Milian is another one of the best to ever do it. Henry Silva, great actor. This is a fun movie. I think it's worthy of a watch. If you guys haven't checked it out, do check it out. Next one's called Love Me Deadly. This is uncut. Had this one on DVD and upgraded it. Early 70s. The Carrier. This was released on DVD by Scorpion Releasing, and then Code Red released it on Blu-ray. Next one is called The Boneyard. This is kind of a horror comedy. Phyllis Diller, Norman Fell. You may remember Norman Fell from Three's Company. He was Mr. Roper. He was a good character in that show. There's Phyllis Diller. And I joke about this. I say that they probably didn't have to give her much makeup to be creepy in this movie. She was always kind of a creepy lady to me. You can see how silly some of the special effects are. But just because it's silly doesn't mean it's not good. This is a fun watch. 80s. Some of those 80s horror comedies are gold. Here's a triple bill. You get Mama's Dirty Girls, you get Super Van, and you get Piranha Piranha. Nice little 3-pack here of drive-in style movies. We have Slave of the Cannibal God, starring Ursula Andress, who was a absolute knockout. Just a curvy babe, just absolutely amazing. Look at that. I mean, she didn't mind having some of these natives rub oil all over her body. Probably going to get flagged for this. Who cares, man? I'm getting kind of tired of YouTube because every time I upload a video now, they put it on hold as far as I can't put ads in it. And that's every video I upload now. I must be on their list somehow because even if I upload a Disney movie, they put it on hold for like 3 or 4 days and then they say, okay, you can monetize it. By then, nobody's watching it anymore. I only get views the first couple days and that's it. And so I don't know. I'm definitely not making much money from them, so it's not that. But I'm on their list somehow for some reason. This one's called Desecration. This is the unrated edition of it, unrated version of it. This one is spy number 165. This one also comes with a short film called Desecration, and I think that's where this full-length movie came from. They expanded upon the short that's included in here as well. Next one is an Italian killer shark movie called Monster Shark, directed by Lamberto Bava, starring Michael Sopkiw, and he's another B-movie guy that's been around the block a few times in the B-movies. Next one is called Erotic Nights of the Living Dead, directed by Joe D'Amato, starring Laura Gemser and George Eastman. And again, George Eastman is great. Laura Gemser is knockout. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous. What's not to like? Then this was a re-release of Savage Streets, and they gave it a different spine number. Now it's spine number 169, and they put a slipcover over the top of it. There's John Vernon. You may remember him. He was in a lot of movies over the years. Most notably, he was in The Outlaw Josie Wales, and he was a great actor, John Vernon. He was in a lot of movies over the years, but I think he was in Animal House, but I remember him most from Josie Wales. And so Savage Streets, now it's spy number 169, and earlier it was spy number 4. So I'm not sure why they did it that way, but they did. Twin billing, double feature here. You get Teenage Tramp, and you get Kat Merkill and the Silks. This is spy number 170. A couple of 60s, late 60s, early 70s kind of sex romps, rom-coms, I guess, or sex coms, whatever you want to call those. Here's a movie called The Fifth Floor, starring Bo Hopkins. There's a young Robert Englund in here. Mel Ferrer is also in here. Julie Adams, who was in The Creature from the Black Lagoon, is in here. Sharon Farrell, who was Mike Farrell's wife, is in here as well. She was also in MASH in the 70s. Nice little, you can see Robert Englund. He's great. I would love to meet him someday. I have his autograph, but I have never met him. He's one guy. I'm not really an autograph hound, or I'm not starstruck when it comes to celebrities. But there's probably like 4 or 5 guys I need to meet, to shake hands before I die, and he's one of them. I would love to meet Robert Englund someday and shake his hand. I know he's always at cons, so it's not like he's impossible to meet. Maybe one of these days I'll get out and get a chance to meet him, shake his hand. Next one's called Just Before Dawn, spine 173. Another backwoods slasher movie. This is excellent. I really enjoy this movie. Uh, this was also released earlier. This was also Spy Number 4. I'm going to show you. It's now Spine 173, so it's the same movie. They just re-released it. And looking back, so Savage Streets was Spy Number 4, and Just Before Dawn was also Spy Number 4. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did happen. But now they have it re-released as Spy Number 172. So that was it for the fifth shelf. So let's just keep going here, and we'll dive into this little pile of DVDs, and there's a few Blu-rays left. So we have the Swinging Barmaids. We have Steel Arena. We have Street Law, starring Franco Nero and Barbara Bach. Take a look at Barbara Bach. She's a babe. That's Ringo Starr's wife. Blackout. This has a great cast. You get Jim Mitchum, Robert Carradine. Ray Milland is in here as well. See the young Carradine there. He made his bones. He made his name pretty much in the Revenge of the Nerds movies. He was great. David Carradine's brother. This is a great release called Dead Pit, Spy Number 179. This is a glow-in-the-dark cover. It's embossed. It's a good movie too. Good little zombie movie about a doctor who does some pretty torturous experiments on patients in a mental hospital. It's a good movie. Here's Fulci's Conquest. This is kind of a sword and sorcery type movie. You know, Fulci was mostly known for horror movies, but he did do other stuff, and he did spaghetti westerns, and he tried to do a fantasy movie, and it's okay, but it was definitely not his forte in my opinion, but it's still worthy of a watch. And don't let me dissuade you from watching it. Go check it out. Probably have already anyway. Next one is a creature feature called Spasms. A couple of great actors here. You got Peter Fonda, Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed right there. Pretty good little movie. This is Spy Number 400. And this is called the All Night Grindhouse Marathon. So you get, for some reason this got kind of jacked up. The plastic got ripped here on the front of the packaging. You get the Velvet Trap. You get Marcy. You get Hot Nights on the Campus, plus 2 more movies, which are Sex and the College Girl and Shut Up and Deal. So some of the movies are in color, some are in black and white, and these are kind of late night type movies. So this one is when we start getting into the Dark Force stuff. Dark Force, I know that David DeFalco, he was friends with both William and Walt Olson, and I think he kind of partnered up with one or both of them. I know he was at least doing some stuff with Bill Olson. And this is his company called Dark Force. So you get Chaos, you get Don't Look in the Basement, and I believe that's it. This is a twin bill. So that's the Dark Force logo. I keep them here with my Code Red stuff. I don't have a whole lot of Dark Force stuff, but the ones I do, I keep here with Code Red. So this is when they kind of teamed up. You get the Code Red logo and the Dark Force logo. It's another twin billing. You get House on the Edge of the Park and Last House on Massacre Street. This is a really good twin bill here. If you like these kind of like home invasion type movies, this is a nice little 2-pack. And the next one is The House That Vanished and the Eerie Midnight Horror Show. I really do need to pick up more of this stuff because I think Dark Forces puts some good stuff out, and he's kind of taking over where Code Red left off, which I do appreciate that. The next one's called The Backlot Murders. You can see Corey Haim. And this one was excellent. I think this is a great release. I love that cover. It's just kind of, it reminds me of like a flyer you would see for a Grindhouse, you know, a Grindhouse movie, like a advertising Grindhouse movies. The dead shall rise and walk the earth. 3 days only, do you dare? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the gates of hell, and Psycho from Texas. You get a nice little twin bill here. It's a Dark Force and Code Red. This one glows in the dark too. It's embossed. If you charge it up to light, if you put this up to a light for a little bit and then turn the lights off, this is a nice little green glow to it. Next one is called Offerings. Kind of a little holiday slasher, Christmas time slasher. The next one is called Point Doom, featuring music by Motley Crue, Ice-T, White Zombie, Motorhead, Duff McKagan. That's excellent. This one's great too. Ator the Fighting Eagle. It's a great cover. It's embossed. Another kind of a sword and sandal type movie. I knew I had to get this one. And these next two are the same movie, just two different titles. So you get Insect. Again, it's embossed. These are really nice slipcovers. They're glossy and embossed. They're really, really high quality. So this one is called Insect, in the same exact movie with a different title. Now it's called Blue Monkey. Don't ask me why. I don't know why it's Insect and Blue Monkey. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. But so I got a little pile here on the floor. This was I upgraded this already to Blu-ray, so this is the DVD of Mardi Gras Massacre. Next one is called Killer's Delight, for the first time on DVD. This one came out, the movie came out in 1977. I was trying to see when the DVD was released, but that looks like 2008. It was Code Red there on the left and Shriek Show together put that out in 2008 for the first time on DVD. This one's called The Curious Case of the Campus Corpse, from the producer of Freddy vs. Jason. It's also a Code Red and Shriek Show movie. And this also came out in 1977, and it was released on DVD in 2008. I upgraded this one to Blu-ray, but this is the DVD of Primal Rage. Pretty fun movie. I like it. I recommend it. Here's another one that you guys may have, if you watched my Bigfoot video, then you saw this one, Night of the Demon. There's two different covers. This was the kind of, I guess, censored, or it wasn't really banned, but they came out with another cover after this one because they didn't want to have this guy holding his knob, his bloody knob through his pants, because there was a scene where Bigfoot rips his bell end off. And so they redid the cover with just the Bigfoot on the cover, and this guy was kind of taken out of the photo. So this one's a little harder to find. It's not, you know, it's not impossible to find, just a little bit harder to find. And this one is called Ghost Keeper. I like this movie. It's the 30th anniversary edition haunted house movie. Creepy. I like haunted house movies. And the next one, we're almost done here, is called God's Bloody Acre. Plus you get a bonus movie called Tomcats. Next one's called The Black Klansman. It's a Ted V. Michaels movie and has since been remade. This is the old original one from the late 60s, but it was remade probably a few years ago. This one's called Rivals. This one's called Spasms. Peter Fonda, Oliver Reed, We saw this one earlier. This is that snake movie. So that's been upgraded to Blu-ray. Next one is called The Super Weapon, starring Ron Van Cleef, who was a 4-time karate world champion. Kung fu stuff there from the 70s. Here's a 6-pack, volume 3. You get 2 discs, 6 movies. You get The Sin of Adam and Eve. You get Hellhounds of Alaska, Psycho from Texas, Boogie Vision, Gums, and Bad Girls for the Boys. You get 6 movies on 2 DVDs. Next one is called Stanley. Another snake movie. This is the special deluxe edition. 1972. We got The Witchmaker again. We upgraded this to Blu-ray, so this is the DVD. I don't get rid of stuff very often. Very, very rarely will I ever get rid of anything in my collection. I like to keep the DVDs and Blu-rays and everything. This one's called Girls in Chains, which I think we upgraded this one. I think we did upgrade this one. Originally known as Schoolgirls in Chains, that's why. So we do have Schoolgirls in Chains on Blu-ray, so that is the DVD of that. Don't Go in the Woods Alone. It's actually just Don't Go in the Woods. This is a very good backwoods slasher movie. I really recommend this one. It's the 25th anniversary DVD. I think this is a good movie. Next one's called Love Butcher. I have upgraded this to Blu-ray already. Look at that pitchfork right through the body. And the last one is Quadroon, again, the Black Mandingo. We talked about this on Blu-ray already. And I believe that's it. I thought I had... Oh, I do have more. I have a whole nother shelf over here. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pause it here because I have like 2 more shelves worth of Code Red stuff down at the bottom down here. You can see that this room is in... This is kind of a progress... I have plans for this room, but it's still in progress. So I have a lot of stuff kind of piled up. But by the end of this coming summer, everything's going to be completely in place, and then I'm going to start doing room tours, and I'm going to start doing all my videos in this room probably. I may still do occasional pickup videos on my bed, but for the most part, everything will be in here. So I'm going to pause it here for a minute. Let's get into this last 2 piles down here. Oh man, I was thinking I was done with the video, but I got a bunch to go. So we're going to go through this quick. Here's a twin bill. We have Encounter with the Unknown and Where Time Began on DVD. They're calling these 2 Lost Ultimate Saturday Matinee Classics from Exploitation Cinema, but these are from Code Red. I get some karate stuff also from Code Red. These are the Master Lee's Drunkard Cinema, Volume 1. You get Challenge of the Dragon, the Needle Avenger double feature. Mausoleum and Blood Song double bill. Cemetery Girls and Vampire Hookers double bill. House of Insane Women and the Night of 1,000 Cats double feature. Pre-apocalyptic collection. You got Probability Zero and Sullivan's Marauders. They're calling this the Dario Argento double feature because I believe he wrote the movies. He didn't direct them, but he wrote the screenplays. I think that's what it was. You got Curse of the Blue Lights on DVD. Spy number 90. Evil Speak, starring Clint Howard. Spy number 87. The Forest, the standalone edition. Spy number 003. Dead Pit. This is the unrated director's cut. This is spine number 09. Trapped. Also have this on Blu-ray, starring Henry Silva. This is spine number 16. Rituals. I really enjoy this movie a lot. It's about a group of, I think it's either 4 or 5 lawyers who take a weekend vacation together in the woods in a tent, and they're going to do fishing and canoeing and camping. And they get stalked by a lunatic in the woods, and it's very well done. It's a great movie. Spine number 24. I recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Yeah, there's some pretty good kills in here. The killer is relentless. Here's a double feature called The Being and Cop Killers. Looks like this is a 5-movie pack. So you get The Angry Dragon, Revenge of the Dragon, Dragons Never Die, Fists of the Double K, and The Mandarin Magician. All of them in color, all from the 70s. Here's another twin bill. You get Murder Run and Unhinged. It's a Don Gronquist double feature. It's kind of a comedy, action, suspense, death row game show. Convicts get a chance to leave prison, but they have to go through these very deadly obstacle courses and stuff, and it's a very slim chance that they get through. This is spine number 106. This one's called My Old Man's Place. And this is spine number 107, and it came out in 1972. There's a sexy double bill. You get Trip with the Teacher and Jail Babysitter. Oh, geez. Double feature of Inn of the Damned and Night of Fear. Double feature of The Night Prowler and Devil Woman. Spine 113. Devil's 3. Spine 72. Devil's Express. Spine 75. And Black Dragon's Revenge and The Black Dragon. So we have one more shelf. Going to pause it really quick and we'll end this video. Okay, we'll try to make this quick here. So we have Slithis. We upgraded that one to Blu-ray, creature feature. The Undertaker, starring Joe Spinell. This was one of his last roles, I think. And he wasn't doing very good, and I think he was on some kind of a substance abuse, and I think he died shortly after that. Next one's called Exterminators of the Year 3000, spine number 34, post-apocalyptic movie. Next one's called Horror High, spine number 32, uncut for the first time. Mean Johnny Barrows, I have these already on Blu-ray. And Death Journey, uncut director's edition. The Carrier, SciFi. This should not be here. I was looking for this. This is not a code red. This is a full moon movie. I was looking for this. This is a great movie. I have it on Blu-ray now, but I really love this DVD, and I was looking for it. And I was going crazy looking for this. Wow. Have you guys ever done that? Misplaced it and and just go nuts looking for it. Anyway, if you haven't seen Tourist Trap, check it out. It's a great movie starring Chuck Connors. It's kind of like the House of Wax, but this has nothing to do with Code Red, so I'm just going to put this over here for now. I wonder what else we're going to find down here. Here's Madman. This is another great backwoods slasher, Madman Mars. This is the 30th anniversary DVD edition, spine number 39. Stunt Rock. It's a 2-disc set, Brian Trenchard Smith film. It's a pretty heavy set. It's a pretty good movie. It's got a good soundtrack to it. And the Dead Are Alive, I have this upgraded to Blu-ray. Still, I like this cover, and I'll never get rid of these DVDs. Next one's called Night of the Dribbler. It's ridiculousness, foolishness, but it's still pretty funny. Comedy. Here's another edition of Beyond the Door. This was a Best Buy exclusive, if you can see that. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. So this was a Best Buy exclusive. It includes the theatrical cut and the extended interview with star Juliette Mills. Two-disc collector's edition. This was a hot ticket for a minute. I don't think it is anymore. Next one's called The Dead Pit. This is a 2-disc edition. I had the other one that you guys saw was a 1-disc. This is a 2-disc. This was kind of a hot ticket too for a minute. This is the unrated director's cut. Next one's called Boarding House, which I thought this movie was just bad. I didn't really like this. So Vinegar Syndrome has released this now on Blu-ray, and I do own that on Blu-ray as well. But this movie is not very good. Here's Soul Survivor. This is spine number, what does that say, 007? Yeah, 007. I don't know how he was coming up with his numbering system, but here's Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. This is number 006. Here's one called The Fabulous Journey to the Center of the Earth, and this is the extended European version of Jules Verne's classic adaptation. This is spine 002. This is a good movie. This is a really excellent movie. I would love to see this on Blu-ray. I'm sure it does. I just haven't checked. I don't think it has a Code Red Blu-ray release, but it may be something like Indicator or somebody, maybe Second Sight, put that out on Blu-ray. I'll have to do a little digging. Here's a twin bill of Scream and The Barn of the Naked Dead. Here's a twin bill of The Forest and Don't Go in the Woods. This is an excellent twin bill. I love both of these movies. The next one's called If He Hollers, Let Him Go. I'm sure you guys know that little nursery rhyme from back in the day. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nene by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Right? Next one's called Weekend Murders. Did I already show this one? These are falling. This is a great edition here. I like this movie a lot. This has Barbara Bach in it. It's called The Unseen. This is the 2-disc set. This is a really nice edition right here. This is a good movie. We have 3 more here. Foxbat, which I upgraded to Blu-ray. Death Machines, which I do have on Blu-ray. This was put out by Vinegar Syndrome. I have the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray of this one. And the last one, finally, and I bet you there's more, but I'm not going to look for more. We're going to end it here. This is a long, long video. Death Promise. And this was spine number 79. So thank you guys for joining me. As always, I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I apologize for my crabbiness during this video. I'm really not that crabby. I kind of woke up feeling a little bit blah this morning. And I went to the grocery store and I was just not feeling much better, you know, as far as like I was feeling kind of grumpy. And I felt like when I came back, I wanted to record a video. Maybe I would feel better. And I started to get irritated again. And I think I'm going to go take a nap. But thank you guys for tuning in. I always enjoy the views and the comments and any support that you guys want to show. I always do appreciate that. I never ask for subs or thumbs up, but I appreciate you guys. And hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe I gave you guys some ideas of some movies to pick up for your collection. And as always, if you see something that I'm missing that I need to have, you should comment below. And I always like these suggestions of these movies. And if you've made it this far, hashtag crabby. And that'll make me smile. And I'll catch you guys next time. I'm going to show you guys one more clip, and this is going to be of the dogs, and then we're going to end the video. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Okay, bonus footage. So these are the girls, and you guys wanted to see them. They haven't been in the last couple of videos. So here's Miss Hannah. And here's Miss Heidi. Everybody's doing good. So I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.